el-Balah, Gaza, morgues are overflowing and hospitals are struggling to cope with a surge in casualties, according to medical sources. The latest figures from Gaza's health ministry report 36 people killed and 115 injured across the enclave in the past 24 hours. The situation escalated as Israel's ground forces moved into the Be'eri refugee camp in central Gaza's Deir el-Balah, accompanied by targeted attacks from fighter jets and artillery. This operation is part of Israel's broader military campaign in Gaza. Hamas, the governing body in Gaza, has stated that it cannot agree to any deal unless Israel makes a clear commitment to a permanent ceasefire and a complete withdrawal from Gaza. In contrast, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reiterated that the war will continue until Hamas is completely eliminated. The conflict, which began on October 7th, has resulted in significant loss of life and injuries. To date, at least 36,586 people have been killed and 83,074 wounded. The humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate as the fighting persists, placing immense pressure on medical facilities and infrastructure. The international community remains concerned about the escalating violence and the dire humanitarian conditions faced by civilians in Gaza. Efforts to negotiate a ceasefire have so far been unsuccessful, and the region remains in a state of intense conflict. Prime Minister Shehbaz has emphasized bilateral cooperation with China during his visit, highlighting key sectors such as technology, industry, and renewable energy.
Here are these golden opportunities available to us. Today, after this plenary session, please sit down with your Chinese counterparts and find out ways and means how to move Chinese textile industry to Pakistan and stitch joint collaborations, joint investments, how to move in leather industry, how to progress in steel and engineering. As our Deputy Prime Minister said already, that Pakistan's mineral deposits today value around $10 trillion. And unfortunately, our export is meager $30 billion. So imagine the potential Pakistan has to boost its exports, the potential Pakistan has to dig out its gold mines, copper mines, convert them into semi-finished goods, finished goods, and then export to the entire world. And yet, this is one area where we are still dreaming.
Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb expressed hope for a key policy rate cut this year by the State Bank of Pakistan in line with inflation on Wednesday.
Currency market. So it's from that perspective, it's a very stable FX reserves that we have as we go into the next fiscal year. Inflation, which was a real issue in Pakistan, it had peaked at about 38%, has come down to a little over 11% in May. And in fact, it actually beat the market consensus. The market consensus was around 14%. So it's not only the CPI, not only the core inflation, but also the food inflation which is coming down. And while this is very much in the domain of the central bank, we do expect that the policy rate will start moving down in line with inflation, because we have now enough cushion in terms of the positive real interest rate that we need to maintain. So the interest rate regime in Pakistan, which has been an issue for a while, we should start seeing some relief on that front during the course of this calendar year.
In legal developments, the Islamabad High Court has granted permission to the Federal Investigation Agency to conduct statements from PTI leaders concerning the party's social media activities. However, the court has cautioned against any form of harassment. This decision comes after the FIA summoned PTI leaders Barrister Gohar, Omar Ayub, and party spokesperson Rauf Hassan regarding the alleged misuse of Imran Khan's official account. The court has ordered the summoned leaders to cooperate but has emphasized the need to ensure their rights are respected. Separately, the Islamabad High Court affirmed the freedom of journalists to cover court proceedings. However, it emphasized the importance of responsible reporting. Chief Justice Umar Farouk addressed concerns raised by a journalists' organization regarding sensational tickers. He clarified that there was no ban on court reporting and questioned the involvement of the federal government in the matter, which was deemed a Pemra issue. In another hearing, the Islamabad High Court has ordered the desealing of Pakistan Tehreek-i-Insaf's Central Secretariat in the G8 sector of the capital. The decision came after PTI General Secretary Omar Ayub's petition challenged the Capital Development Authority's operation that sealed the premises. The court found the sealing order, issued without prior notice, to be in violation of regulations. Consequently, the court directed the CDA to deseal the property immediately, while allowing further action in case of any future violations. Meanwhile, an anti-terrorism court in Azad Jammu and Kashmir has made a consequential decision regarding the bail plea of poet Ahmed Fahad Shah. Despite Shah's counsel arguing against his involvement in the alleged incidents, the court upheld the prosecution's arguments, citing the seriousness of the charges and the ongoing investigation. Lastly, on the political front, PPP chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has voiced concerns over the uncertain federal funding for projects in Sindh. His remarks during the PPP's Sindh chapter parliamentary meeting shed light on the challenges posed by the prevailing financial situation.
वफाकी हुकूमत की तरफ से पैसा मिलना चाहिए, वो भी अनसर्टन है। हम पूरा कोशिश करेंगे और ज़रूर मैं जानता हूँ कि मियाँ शहबाज शरीफ साहब अपने वादा पूरा करेंगे और इंशाअल्लाह ताला जहाँ तक वो इश्यूज़ है वो जल्द बजट से पहले हल होंगे। मगर हमें अपने महदूद वसाइल में से इस बात पे फोकस करना पड़ेगा कि हम अपना महदूद वसाइल में से कैसे अपना डिलीवरी को बेहतर कर सकें।
Narendra Modi has been re-elected as the leader of the coalition led by his Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. With the BJP falling short of an outright majority in the recent elections, Modi's coalition is expected to stake claim to form the next government. The BJP secured 240 seats, 32 short of the halfway mark in the 543-member Lok Sabha. Meanwhile, the main opposition Indian National Congress Party saw a significant increase in its seat count, winning 99 seats compared to its previous tally of 52. The Congress-led India Alliance, with 223 seats, is also convening in New Delhi to discuss its future plans.